Growing up great, growing up grand, blossoming into a special person. We have a date, the future's at hand. It's waiting for you and me. Growing up great, growing up grand, so many choices that we are making. What shall we do? What shall we be? The choice is all ours, you see. When we all grow up, we can build a future that's rosy bright. We all must choose a job to do, so we might as well do it right. And we will know a way to grow and find the future is waiting there, you see, waiting for you and me. Scene 1, Growing Up Great, my 3rd grade musical. My name is Jenny. I'm 9 years old. I'm an only child. I have a cat named Angel and a dog named Bailey. When I grow up, I want to be an artist, an actor, an author, or a dancer. The best thing about living in America today is that anybody can be anything they want to. For example, my dad is an engineer and my mom is a homemaker, and she also leads my Girl Scout troop. As children in today's world, we have many choices of the ways we can spend our time. For example, I take piano lessons and swimming lessons and Spanish lessons. Me llamo Juanita y mi cumpleaños es el 28 de octubre. I'm also an Indian princess with my dad. And now, may the great spirit of all great spirits be with you now and forever. Growing up great means that diversity is very important. I have a friend whose parents are from Korea. Her name is Jenny too. I have 1 black aunt and 4 black cousins, and my other aunt just married a Mexican man. My family is very diverse. Growing up great also means that it's important to appreciate other cultures. My grandpa works in economics, and he and my grandma live in Swaziland right now, and we got to visit them for a whole month when I was in kindergarten, and we get to go back again this year for Christmas. I hope Elphys is still their gardener. Last time, I helped him pick avocados from their tree, and he lifted me up to get the ones from the highest branches. I'm probably too big for that now. I'm excited and a little nervous to represent my peers as we go on this journey of growing up. Growing up great, growing up grand, blossoming into a special person. We have a date, the future's at hand. It's waiting for you and me. Scene 2, Declaration of Independence. Time to stand for the pledge. Prometo lealtad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios con libertad y justicia para todos. Every morning at school, we say the Pledge of Allegiance, and my Spanish tutor taught me the words in Spanish, so sometimes when everybody else is saying it in English, I say the words in Spanish under my breath. It sounds so cool. George Bush was just elected president. My parents are mad, but my teacher is happy. She hung a big banner in our classroom that says, 200 years from George to George. Today, we're learning about our founding fathers and the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Jennifer, she's not calling on me. I didn't raise my hand. She didn't ask a question. There are 5 girls named Jenny or Jennifer in my class this year. That's Jennifer E. Why doesn't it say all men and women are created equal? That's a great question. During the time the Declaration of Independence was written, women didn't have equal rights. But the women's suffrage movement gave women the right to vote. And the women's rights movement gave women equal rights in the workplace. So now we understand that these words really mean all men and women are created equal. Jennifer. That's Jennifer C. What about Black people? Wasn't there still slavery? That's not very equal. You're right. Slavery was not abolished until after the Civil War, which was after the Declaration of Independence was written. The Civil Rights Movement also gave Black people a lot of rights that they should have had all along. So now we understand that these words really mean all people are created equal. Growing up great, growing up grand, so many choices that we are making. What shall we do? What shall we be? The choice is all ours, you see. Scene 3, follow the rules.
Sit up straight. Don't talk when the teacher is talking. Write neatly. Make a single file line. Finish your milk. Go to bed at 8:30. Make your bed. Keep your hands clean. Think happy thoughts. Be agreeable. Be clever, but not too candid. Give the correct answer. Don't make a mistake. There is only one right answer. Raise your hand if you want to speak. Be well-spoken and articulate. Don't be too loud. Don't be too rowdy. Don't have strong opinions. Be polite. Don't disagree. Don't stay up late. Tie your shoes. Color inside the lines. Don't cry. Be strong, but not overbearing. Don't beg for toys. Keep your face clean. Be pretty. Be thin. Be happy and well-adjusted. Be perfect. Be pleasant.
Scene 4, when I grow up. When I grow up, I want to be an artist, an actor, an author, or a dancer. Stockbroker, banker, and financier will manage your money well, do not fear. In the Wall Street market we go to bet, and we'll make you money, you can bank on that. Did you know that Wall Street got its name from an actual wall that was built there by enslaved Africans in the 1600s, meant to help defend the city from attacks by pirates and Native Americans, and that from 1711 to 1762, Wall Street was the site of the government-sanctioned slave market for New York City? Me neither. We'll invest your savings at the highest yield. We are experts and we know our field. We'll help you put that nest egg away to be sure you're ready for a rainy day. Give us your dough and we'll make it grow. Improve your cash flow, you can bank on that. When I grow up, I want to be an artist, an actor, an author, or a dancer. Well, I guess I might like to be a veterinarian or a pediatrician or a rocket scientist. They make a lot of money. It's important to make a lot of money. But why do I have to choose between making a lot of money and making art? What am I missing? I don't know about you, but this question of making a lot of money versus making art has been huge for me for a long time. I love making art and connecting with people. I love acting and singing and writing, but it's like really hard to make money in the real world doing these things, you know? I was taught that the main goal of whatever career I chose should be to accumulate wealth. This is what happy people do, right? They have the big house in the suburbs, maybe a timeshare vacation rental or a boat. They work hard in an acceptable field, something involving business or science or healthcare or law, for example. But where do the arts fit into capitalism? They don't, as far as I can tell. When people ask me what I do, I still tend to answer with my day job, although it has never been and will never be my passion. If I were to give a more honest answer about what I do, I would say I'm an artist. And I could elaborate with examples of creative projects that I've worked on and the deeper themes of empathy and connection and vulnerable expression that inspire me. But although this answer is fundamentally true, I feel scared to say it out loud. I feel like saying I am an artist requires an explanation and an apology. You know what else is hard? Following all those rules about the proper ways to be. I tried for years. I tied myself up in knots trying to be perfect. I tried so hard to be who I thought I was supposed to be that I almost lost who I actually was. And then 7 years ago, something broke inside me. I hated my life. I hated my marriage. I was lonely and sad. And nothing felt great about this future I had grown up into. So I left my husband and started going to therapy and spent the next 7 years doing a lot of deep work on myself. By February of this year, I was feeling pretty proud of myself, pretty evolved, remarkably self-aware. I had learned through personal experience that vulnerability and honesty were the keys to meaningful connection, and that connection has the power to unify humanity on a larger scale. I was ready to heal the world. In March, the pandemic hit. COVID-19. Life as we knew it came to a screeching halt. I employed some coping mechanisms. After more than 2 months of lockdown, it seemed that we had all been tested to our limit. I was riding a roller coaster of anxiety and depression, uncertain about my future and the collective future of humanity. During my daily walks, I clung to the sidewalk chalk messages of hope, saying, "Hang in there, and we're in this together." It seemed that we had hit some kind of rock bottom as a society, that maybe this pandemic was just what we needed to come together to fight climate change. Maybe somehow this was all for the best. Then on May 25th, George Floyd was murdered by that cop in Minneapolis. If you like keeping the peace and enforcing the laws, directing the traffic, look no further, because you'll be a friend in need, a friend indeed. Come join the police force, you're bound to succeed. That cop kneeled on George Floyd's neck for nearly 9 minutes, killing him. I watched that video and I could not imagine anything more appalling. And then I stepped outside the bubble of the world I had known, and I learned about Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain and Eric Garner and Tamir Rice and Michael Brown and Alton Sterling and Philando Castile and Freddie Gray and Stephon Clark and Tatiana Jefferson. And I began to see that police officers from Miami to Orlando to Atlanta to New York to Baltimore to Cleveland to St. Louis to Sacramento have been murdering Black people in brutal ways, often for reasons like driving with a broken taillight, or leaving their front door open, or standing in their own backyard, or being asleep in their bed and not facing any consequences. If you like lending a hand to a person who's lost, or helping a child a busy highway to cross, you'll be a friend in need, a friend indeed. Come join the police force, you're bound to succeed. And I realized I have been ignorant in my lack of awareness of racial injustice and oppression, and complicit in my silence.
George Floyd! George Floyd! Breonna Taylor!
Breonna Taylor! George Floyd!
George Floyd!
Federal agents, along with cops in full riot gear, armed with tear gas and rubber bullets and sonic weapons, were deployed to Portland to try to silence the protesters. And in response, a wall of moms and grandmas showed up to stand arm in arm at the front lines, dressed in yellow and wearing bicycle helmets, because enough is enough. The dads showed up next, wearing orange and armed with leaf blowers to combat the tear gas. This is deeply personal now, as it no doubt should have been much, much sooner. In AA, they say it takes what it takes, meaning, I suppose, that there's no point in bemoaning the time wasted in the before. Before sobriety, before enlightenment, before healing, before change. Once we know better, we can do better. Once we realize there are more effective choices we can make to live our lives more authentically and in better service to the world community, we must make those new choices and keep learning so we can keep growing. Growing up great, growing up grand, so many choices that we are making. What shall we do? What shall we be? The choice is all ours, you see. I keep thinking about the Declaration of Independence and how my teacher omitted the fact that its author, Thomas Jefferson, enslaved more than 600 Africans at his home in Monticello. And 5 years after penning the Declaration of Independence, wrote a book called Notes on the State of Virginia, which became widely popular for more than a century and explored his belief that Virginia encapsulated everything good about society, including slavery, which he justified by describing Black people as intellectually inferior to white people, and the impossibility of a society in which white people and Black people could exist together in freedom. Instead, we honor him publicly. You can visit the beautiful Thomas Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. And there are 350 public schools named after him in the United States, including the predominantly Black Jefferson High School down the street from my house. We associate his name with independence, which we are taught to view as an ultimate good. But in fact, we are interdependent. We are intimately connected to the systems in place around us, intimately dependent on the choices we all make to either allow these systems to continue or to demand and work for change. It's ironic that the current circumstances have me reaching out to you through a screen across hundreds of miles. That because of this pandemic, the stark reality of just how interdependent we are is presenting itself. Maybe we can learn to utilize and cultivate our interconnection because our direct in-person contact has been so scarce for so long. In scarcity, we discover what's most valuable, what's most necessary for survival. Humans are communal creatures. We feel safe when we're truly connected, and we can only truly connect when we acknowledge the truth and work to heal our personal and collective wounds. Let's step up now and do the work. And we will know a way to grow and find the future is waiting there, you see, waiting for you. and me. Epilogue, Growing Up Great, my third grade musical.